So hello there, my name's Dane Lemaitre. Welcome to the review, and this is a review on a special truck that I've just brought off the Hornby website, and I got some discount off of it. The reason I got some discount off of it is because I got a voucher with the Hornby Captain Tom Moore, obviously now Sir Captain Tom Moore model. And also with that, I got a voucher, you probably remember me mentioning in that video, to visit the Hornby Hobby Centre in Margate. And to my knowledge, I mean, I've been on a lot of holidays when I was younger, before obviously YouTube came along, and I was taking photos and that myself and that, so I'm not 100% sure if I've actually been to Margate before or not. But obviously now that I'm older, I would like to go again. It's probably something to do with a certain television programme as well I'd like to go. But nevertheless, I think it'd be great to go anyway next year, hopefully, when things are better. And so anyway, this is the Hornby Centenary wagon, because Hornby is 100 years old this year. Funnily enough, Sir Captain Tom Moore, he was 100 this year as well. And the reason obviously he's famous and had a train named after him is because he raised millions for the NHS just before his 100th birthday. And this year as well, my granddad, he would have been 100, however he passed away in 1994 when I was 9 months old, so I never actually got to meet him, but I was still there obviously. So yeah, I really like this, nice and colourful, and saying because the Hornby's 100 years old this year, if you look on the website there's lots of different wagons and trains and that you can buy, though for me, even with the discount, a lot of them are quite expensive, and every year Hornby release special trucks and things like that, and I don't always buy them, obviously not just because of price but because of space as well. But because it's obviously 100 years, I wanted to buy something. I saw this truck and I thought it'd be something quite nice to have. And as you can see here, I had a little run of it with my Hornby Oliver. Runs really, really nicely. So yeah, that was my run with the wagon. So yeah, I quite like this. It's nice and colourful. Probably not 100% realistic to what a real wagon would look like. And as you can see, that train there is the Flying Scotsman. And you've probably heard me say this before in videos, but if not, I'll say it anyway. Obviously, Flying Scotsman's quite a sentimental one for me, because I've been in the cab. I stood on the front as well. That was taken in October last year, that photo, when I had the cab experience. And then 4 years ago in 2016, just after it had been restored, I filmed it coming through Wellingborough. And you can see from this screenshot on BBC iPlayer, I got it featured on the local BBC News, my footage. So for me, Flying Scotsman's a very sentimental one. And I used to be part of the Model Railway Club, and members there were always saying that they weren't that keen on Flying Scotsman, and they'd rather have ones like Mallard come back. And the Mallard I've seen a few times at the National Rail Museum in York. And I agree, I'd like to see the Mallard again, but at the same time, at least it's preserved, even if it's not in steam. And the thing is, if Flying Scotsman wasn't in steam, I'm sure people would say they'd rather have had that than another locomotive. So it's one of them you can't win situations, really. And for me, seeing a steam engine in steam is better than not seeing it in steam at all. And the fact that we've still got engines in steam and that as well, I think, quite lucky. And hopefully, with obviously everything that's going on, it continues as well. I really hope so. You probably saw my recent video that I went to Statfeld Barn, and that was really, really nice to see. I'd never been there before. Like I said, you can't just turn up. You have to buy a ticket online in advance, and that's not just because of COVID-19. That's how they've always run it there. But really fascinating place to look around, and had a nice tram ride as well. But yeah, and if you have a look at the box here, it says, you can see the box here, and it's in the Hornby Railroad packaging. And I actually wondered what the railroad packaging was when I was quite a few years ago. The railroad is basically the cheaper Hornby range. So with the railroad version, you don't get all the detail, whereas if you buy the normal Hornby, you get more detail. And as well, I've got the Evening Star in the railroad range, and I still think even though it's the railroad version of the Evening Star, it's quite well detailed. And again, I've seen the Evening Star a few times at the National Railway Museum in York. So again, quite a nice and sentimental one for me, really. As well as the Mallard, like I said, I've seen that one before as well. One of my favourite locomotives of all time. I mean, in my opinion, who can not like the Mallard? I suppose the reason I like the Evening Star as well is obviously because Murdoch was also a 9F, which is obviously a tender engine with 10 driving wheels, from Thomas when I was younger. And also I've seen the Leicester City 9F at the Great Central Railway over in Leicestershire. So yeah, I've always been a fan of the Evening Star, really, I think it's fair to say. No, but even for the railroad version, compared to what they were years ago, I do think things are quite expensive. But I always look around for the best deals, and sometimes it's necessary to buy things second hand, because you can buy some second hand things that are pretty much as good as new, never really run. It depends where you shop. So you just got to shop round, really. But yeah, no, I really like this wagon. If you have a look on the other side as well, pretty much the same on the other side. But yeah, really, really nice to look at. Yeah, but as I was saying earlier, if you look on the Hornby website, they've got some special limited edition sets and all that. And it's got the old Hornby Dublo logo on the side there, and Hornby Dublo, or Dublo, whatever it's called. I'm not 100% sure of how that's pronounced. But yeah, that was a special one they used to have, and it used to have, from what I saw in my research, there was a third rail in the middle of the tracks. And obviously there's been trying and things like that, and what I like about going to model railway shows and that is that you get to see all these old different types of trains that Hornby, and not just Hornby but other manufacturers have produced, and that. And like I said, Hornby, the fact that it's been going for 100 years is really, really good. And I think as well, from what I heard on the news and things like that, Hornby and other train companies have done quite well recently, because obviously people haven't been able to go out to places. They've obviously needed more to do, more hobbies to do, so therefore they've been buying wagons and kits and things like that and doing more, which I think is good for the industry. And last year I saw a documentary that James May did, and it showed how Hornby had struggles and that, and how obviously there's competition and things like that. Really, but like I said, I think it's great that it's continued, and like I said, I wanted something that was obviously to mark the Centenary, so I decided to buy this wagon. And like I said, I'm really pleased with it, and like I said, I might possibly buy the stuff off there in the future, not necessarily the Hornby website, but the Hornby products as well, because you can get it from obviously other retailers and that as well. But yeah, anyway, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.